And we are off. Looks like immediate quartz armor on both sides. And magic cookies! That is not killable. You can take the gold spear and then try to throw that. But obviously it's gonna be pretty risky. But JPed has an even better idea. Using the Minotaur to crack open the blood shop, you definitely want to get your hands on 2 of these items. The strength boots and the magic cookies. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy start. Arborelia going down to half a heart, not gonna be able to take advantage of these juicy magic cookies like JPed has been able to here. Absolutely. One of the stupidest items in the game, really. Sure, just take 6 full heart containers, forehead. It's balanced by its rarity, but balancing by rarity is a bit of a iffy thing to do in in-game competitions like this. Especially in speedruns, where you can just reset until everything just works out. But this puts JPed on such a great foot. Arborelia, once she's able to get full health, will be able to take advantage of the cookies as well. Arborelia, I just realized, switching off to a 3 damage Old Faithful. And more magic food! Arborelia is just going to opt to eat the rest of the cookies then and there. Wasting 3 cookies, but able to use the rest of it. So still, that puts JPed at a pretty good spot. So Arborelia more or less has made up the health deficit here. A swap off to Titanium Spear for JPed. That will be a 3 damage spear. Definitely not a bad pickup. And Ring of Courage for Arborelia. Very good pickup here for speed. If she can use it well, then there will be good things happening. I would prefer keeping the Cutlass with Courage, because it turns Courage into a pretty mindless ring, much less mindless than it usually is. You usually have to dedicate quite a bit to running Courage, but with parries, you just need to keep hitting enemies. But both of these races will leave that Cutlass behind in favor of 1 more damage. It isn't called Old Faithful for no reason. It is a reliable weapon to have in your pocket, but given Nocturna's final bosses, maybe not the best choice, but should be able to make up for it more than enough in the rest of the run. Given your opponent as well isn't really on Cutlass. However, JPed picking up Ring of Pain, definitely a competitive ring with Courage, with the current setup, along with an additional damage up, so picking up the Cutlass back up definitely would be a fine choice, but JPed is going to throw. It's a Titanium Sphere. There's a pretty high chance that you'll get something worse. That's a pretty big rough. That's a pretty rough weapon for JPed, but knowing the risks that come with throwing and not picking up your weapon, not limited to getting Squagus suited, getting a worse weapon, or getting just a whip. Not sure what JPed's threshold for tolerance there would be. How bad would the weapon item in black, would the weapon in black have to be for JPed to go back and pick up the Titanium Spear? But this Titanium Broadsword is good enough for JPed. Good enough. Deciding to keep it as JPed continues to Death Metal 3, the first one down. A bit of a slip and slide on Arborelia's side, but it's looking to be perfectly fine in the end. Definitely a slower Zone 3. JPed's build is pretty enviable right now with the additional regeneration with this much health. And Arborelia seems to be trying to push through here, knowing that she has to catch up in order to stand a chance here, but decently fast pace. And a bit of shopping on Arborelia's end. Keeping up the sunglasses damage, but still is on the 3 damage threshold thanks to the boots. So... in a decent spot. No source of regeneration though, unlike JPed. JPed having a solid form of regeneration with those Crown of Thorns. And picking up a free potion as well, just laying there waiting to be picked up. There is only one bomb on both sides. JPed thinking about what to do here. Getting an enchanted dagger after hitting peace. It will be Ring of Frost, not the best weapon. Not the best enchanted dagger here. Definitely hoping for something like Electric Dagger. Or Jolt Dagger even. Actually, maybe, I don't know. Definitely wants Electric Dagger though, because Electric Dagger's not good. JPed doing a bit of falling back after missing the Core Rift high frame on the bat. But utilizing high frames very well to take out Core Rift, along with the Dagger of Freeze. Dagger of Frost. The Freeze Dagger. And we got a Curse Potion pickup for JPed. Needs to make sure not to drink that before quaffing the normal potion. And also needs to make sure Bat Form is still available after they quaff it. As we have seen in one of the Nocturna races earlier. That Cursed Potion can be bad, given that you lose the ability to claim Bat Form. But an abundance of hearts, as Schleimo points out, for JPed. Earth as well here. Arborelia does not have the pace to catch up here. Is trailing a bit behind, but really, anything can happen on the last 2 bosses of Nocturna. Frost Dagger, not a good weapon, I don't think, to carry on. Frankenstein Way should get deleted pretty quickly, which is a huge benefit, but on the Conductor fight, it might cause some issues. Not having any range or any swarm control. But nonetheless, JPed onto Frankenstein Way, just needs to hit it twice. Is doing a lot of damage as well. But 0 bombs on JPed's end, and 4 bombs for Arborelia. Bomb difference can definitely come into play here. As Arborelia is about to make it down to Frankenstein Way. After one more floor, actually. I can't see the floor numbers, I'm blind. It's actually covered. But bit of a scary fight for JPed. Don't know why JPed's transforming into a bat. Can get wiped out. Transform back now. Use you need to use that potion. Cannot drink potions as a bat. Arborelia quaffing her potion. having, I think, a slightly better time with Blast Helm Big Bombs. As JPed takes out 2 instruments, setting up for the third one as we go on to the next phase. Dealing with those mini-bosses very fine on JPed's end. Arborelia is just tanking hits, going down to just 4 hearts, but still has Bat Form to fall back upon. So given the health situation, I would still give it to JPed with the lead and a significantly more amount of health. But Arborelia does have 2 big bombs. Could make the difference with this race being this close. Look at all the beholders for JPed, what is that? Most of them got roasted in that fire pig cycle. But JPed utilizing the tar ball there very well. As Arborelia makes it to phase 2 of the conductor. Could have a better time here in phase 2. But JPed might just be too far progressed here. Another use of the tar ball of the water ball for JPed. JPed has 1 hit left on the conductor. Looks like JPed will finish first. Arborelia trailing shortly behind with just half a heart. Pushing down to the wire. Have a race from time of 11:35. Geez, very fast for Nocturna. But ultimately the big bombs and the blast helm were not gonna be enough to allow Arborelia to catch up. Just not finding enough bombs. Only finding 4 going into Frankenstein way. But of course that still is an advantage over JPed, but JPed having the lead will be too much to overcome. On to our next seed for both of these racers. Pretty solid use out in the bat form for JPed. Arborelia is more or less playing it with bat sprinkled in, but not exactly fully utilizing bat form. Then again, I don't know where they can improve on that. It's still pretty decent, the use of bat. But I'd say JPed using it more aggressively is what you need to do when playing Nocturna. Pretty decent food shop for 1-1 here. JPed will see that, and what? There's just a free potion here. Just not a single tier 2 wall around that potion. That's pretty funny. Not even one indication that there's a potion there. There's just a potion. And Arborelia will see that and reset. And JPed is actually passing on the chainmail. Oh, okay, wrangling the dragon. Not sure if this is worthwhile. Likely wants to kill and keep the chicken, which is fine, actually. Keeping the chicken in your pocket along with armor. I don't think JPed will take the cat though. The cat is definitely not a bad take, nonetheless. JPed will definitely take it. Very fast weapon. And actually not gonna keep the chicken, is going to take the blood drum instead. A lot of decisions that I wouldn't personally make. And there's an urn! This was planned all along. An obsidian cutlass, which is a prime Nocturna weapon for JPed. All this farming, routing this 1-1, using its limited resources to unlock its fullest potential for JPed will end up working out extremely well. JPed looking for bombs here to activate any selection of excellent shrines here. Picks up a bomb out of darkness. This is going ridiculously well for JPed. Does not want that torch. And there's Ring of Regen as well. But JPed will opt to keep peace. This is ridiculous. JPed is just finding everything, squeezing every last bit of potential out of these floors. And the floors are giving so much back to JPed right now. Arborelia has her work cut out for her. This is a very bad spot to be in when racing. It's about to say. Not sure if all this building is worth it, but JPed mapping out the floor, seeing how they can unlock the floor's fullest potential as Arborelia checks black for some dental floss. We'll definitely skip on that weapon. It's Arborelia finds a conjurer, needs some really good stuff out of this, but JPed will do the exact same thing. So it's on parity for both of these racers in terms of the conjurer. It's glass slippers, which is not what you want. Definitely looking for damage up here. Not start to lag behind JPed's significantly better build, or just needs to keep this spiked ears very much alive for Arborelia. Good use of the lead boots on JPed there to hop into the trapdoor without having to worry about the bounce trap. JPed will pull ahead with an excellent build. Absolutely excellent. Arborelia is trying to build up a bit. Not finding anything too worthwhile. And JPed checking shop as well. Knowing that they can easily force the lead if they just go, given the build difference here. Definitely looking for some bomb items would be pretty high on the shopping list right now, but otherwise JPed having darkness activated and a significantly better weapon as they continue on, along with the ring as well. But Arborelia pushing back with a bit, able to do something with this flail probably, but still, peace along with darkness is disgusting. JPed will be able to navigate these floors extremely quickly and efficiently with the map as well. Move dig would definitely be nice. There's definitely still improvements to be made to this already amazing build, but having this much of an edge over your opponent is definitely something you want. So all of that work paying off for JPed now. We're just seeing the fruits of spending a lot of time on 1-1. Coming out for JPed here. It's Arborelia dropping the spiked ears. JPed managing to keep it alive still. Very safe. This is pretty much just downright unfair for Arborelia right now. That was an ultra value statue explosion on JPed's end. Food shop for Arborelia will help with safety, but looking at JPed here, there's only so much you can do. It's too late to find something excellent now. You're gonna have to first spend the time to find something great, and then also catch up here. Thinking Shrine on JPed, but I don't think you do anything with that. Already has excellent weapon, already has excellent ring. Obsidian Cutlass for Nocturna's final bosses are pretty comfy. It's pretty comfy. Flawless for JPed. Dealing a massive amount of damage by keeping the spiked ears alive. We do have some bombs for JPed in the form of Grenade Charm. Maybe a bit awkward to utilize in the fights, but you would definitely take more bombs. Take all the bombs you can get your hands on for Nocturna. Bit of a surround situation for Arborelia, but staying in this with the Obsidian Flail. Definitely doing a great job using the flail to wipe out a lot of enemies, pushing aggressively with it. Does not have piercing, needs to be wary about some enemies though. But still, compared to JPed, it's a lost cause, I think. As JPed reaches Frankenstein way with 9 grenades to use. And an Obsidian Cutlass. Chucking the bombs on over. Doing a good job. Quickly deal with the orbs, leaving 7 grenades left for the conductor fight. JPed can simply run into Frankenstein way here. He does have the parries. But taking quite a bit of damage on JPed's end, but JPed is set to just clean this out. This is the weapon you want when fighting the conductor safely. Warhammer would also be nice, but Cutlass definitely can't complain about that, along with the piece as well. Won't have any nasty dragon situations. JPed could have parried the Chub Monster there to parry the Ogre hit, but I mean, this is just parrying now. We're just parrying. Parry. Making a pretty big goblin hit. Does have armor for it though. And a potion as well. A 1/1 potion that was just sitting there. Utilizing these grenades decently, not the best. Just lay him down, JPed. Lay him down. And GG's! With the potion to spare, JPed will finish off the conductor. Taking 2-0 over Arborelia. Such an excellent build to begin with that Arborelia missed out on. Pretty risky on JPed's end. But in terms of risk versus potential reward, JPed was definitely making the right choice spending that much time early on. And they were rewarded probably way more than they even imagined. But that 1-1 and 1-2 pretty much just already sealing the deal for JPed to win that. Pretty tough to see the match decided in the first 2 floors, but as I said, there's risk versus reward. Taking that extra time and getting rewarded way more than possibly could have imagined. As we go into our final seed of this set. Very comfortable seed so far. These seeds are proving to be plentiful. Bit of a bind on JPed's end, going the wrong way. But it's definitely worth it to just reset. Just wasted all that time not resetting. They are just gonna end up back at the starting room anyways, so... the play there definitely is to reset. Good parries coming out of JPed here, and an iframe to claim a Ring of Pain out of this barrel. Once again, these seeds. Not disappointing in the realm of items. And Arborelia finding Throwing Stars, which is not bad at all. And definitely help deal with some of the early bosses, given that you do not have a dagger to throw. JPed will also pick those up, liking seeing the more aggressive use out of the bat for JPed compared to Arborelia's bat use. It's more passive and responsive, but still solid bat use on both ends. There's a coupon as well for JPed. Not the best items in the shop here. Screen watching will reveal that. As Arborelia is the first one down to the boss of Zone 1. Without the Ring of Pain though, Ring of Pain can prove to be extremely helpful. But that iframe's coming out to aggro Coral Rift and also deliver a lethal blow. Lack of damage is not a death sentence in Nocturna races thanks to that bat form there. You can still bolster your damage by turning into a bat, but nonetheless, don't want to rely on bat form too much. And both racers finding this arena will pick up Bomb Spell. A good spell to have, given how bomb-centric Nocturna's meta is. However, Bomb Spell might only end up giving one bomb, depending how much health you got, but having Bomb Spell just on the tool belt will let you use bombs way more often without needing to worry about stockpiling them up. Good spell to have. Good spell to have. Definitely better spells to have, but on Nocturna, definitely not bad. JPed having more limited range, getting a bit more lost here. Not realizing how bad this layout is. And Old Faithful is in the shop if JPed wants to pick that up. That wouldn't be a bad take. But Squega's suit is also in the shop. JPed will buy out everything. Arborelia will do the same. So, Arbo being put at a back foot, not having that early pain. Early pain could come into play in pretty big ways. And a ham find on JPed's end. JPed going down to half a heart. Eats the ham right away. Good reactionary food to eat there. We'll run back and pick up Full Scroll that they left behind, which they will opt to use on Death Metal here. And finding an actual Pulse Spell. But we'll keep Bomb Spell. Better utility out of that Bomb Spell, in my opinion. Good slide to the exit there on JPed's end. You're definitely beginning to run away with this. The build variance isn't that big, but Arborelia picking up Bomb Charm. Definitely something that can come into play in this race. It's not quite over yet. It's still pretty close. Arborelia making sure the Minotaur does not run away, costing her a lot of time if that happens. As JPed finishes off Fortissimo for Grenade Charms Definitely a good response to those bomb charms, but Arborelia definitely has the chance here to get nukes. Taking a peek at red after flawless Fortissimo is definitely a very viable choice. Definitely would want more bombs in their arsenal, but with nukes, they can do quite a bit. Dropping the flawless will not be able to get that grenade charm or check purple or anything. Definitely needs a ring to be competitive here, but JPed is continuing to run forward. Bit of a surround situation. Pain putting in quite a bit of work. Dealing with the skeletons for JPed. JPed waiting for the sarcophagus to blow up. Standing on the stairs, ready to move on. Oh, JPed! Very dangerous health situation, suddenly. Going down to just half a heart. Tossing a grenade in, but in the process, we'll get rid of a pixie. But continued usage of nades on JPed's end will allow them to deal with deep blues in a pretty timely fashion. But we have move take for JPed, and also a compass. Still very scary to do this without a torch. Things can go wrong pretty quickly on half a heart. Shield scroll pickup for JPed. Definitely can extend their life a bit. Arborelia needs to place down a bomb and use bat form, something. Taking a walloping there. There are definitely ways to deal with goo as Nocturna. You have bat form for one. And you have bat form iframes, and also you got bombs. You got safe bombs, you got bomb charm. A lot of stuff you could do, but in panic, it's easy to forget pretty much every tool at your disposal. But JPed is farming up. Interesting choice, given they aren't that far ahead of Arborelia. Still very scary situations for both racers. Arborelia brought down to bat form actually. And goes down to half a heart as bat form once again. Suegasu not gonna put in any work while you're a bat. So at this point, both of these racers have just slammed on the brakes. Very fittingly, as going into the final fight here is going to need as much health as they both can get. Which means conserving all of the health. As much health as they can. Yeah, JPed very much playing carefully, Arborelia also playing relatively carefully. Definitely not a bad move, especially if your opponent is also doing it. And JPed finding a transmog. Trying to find something else that they can bring into Frankenstein way to help them, but they will just leave with nothing. Satisfied? Should be satisfied with what they have right now, but obviously could be better. And nice transform out of JPed, however, puts them into a pretty dangerous spot. They can easily get wiped out as bat form. Frankenstein way isn't the most manageable, but if they play this right, they will be able to recover health as they turn into human form right before they take a hit. Some good iframes coming out of JPed as JPed goes on to the conductor with just half a cursed heart. Definitely not a situation you want to be in, Especially given JPed has 0 time to farm. Arborelia is right behind them. They're just gonna have to go for this and not take any hits. Taking hits will set them pretty far behind, having to regenerate half a heart as a bat, which is a dangerous situation to be in on the conductor fight. Arborelia is continuing to farm up, which is the right choice. They are close enough to put pressure onto JPed, but they don't need to push it. But very managed fight here for JPed. But here, the second phase is where things can go off. A greater shield coming out with JPed here. Very effective at saving off a bit of damage. Makes this a lot more comfortable, but that greater shield is off, and the Tarvo will finish off the last battery. A very quick conductor fight for JPed, and that will finish the set 3-0. Arborelia just falling slightly behind in terms of build and pace, and I mean, it's a chicken and the egg situation. One of them causes the other one. Except, part of it was a complete washout in build as well. It wasn't just slight at times. Nonetheless, well handled on JPed for that conductor fight.